I have been asked to give a report on a meeting that we had yesterday, Senator Tidings and myself, with the Tennessean Editorial Board. Since I'm technology challenged and do not know how to do a PowerPoint, I brought props. So let's start with the shoe. That's a ladies' tennis shoe. One of the first questions we were asked was about a colleague in support of the Blackburn bill had a meeting with the Tennessean Editorial Board. During that meeting, this person told the editorial board that this stack that we're dealing with weighs less, quite often, than a lady's tennis shoe. So here's the ladies' tennis shoe. We will probably put these out on a table with the rest of the props for people to look at, because several people here in the meeting last night said they had never even seen a stack. So there's the ladies' tennis shoe. Now, what was stated was, since the stack weighs less than a ladies' tennis shoe, let's look at a stack.
Let me get out of the way.
Oops, sorry.
It's okay.
I handed this to the editorial board after he examined the ladies' tennis shoe, and he proceeded to drop it on their lovely wood table, and then said, thank God the cover we had on the table was removed. It was glass, and we wouldn't have that now. I said, well, that weighs less than a ladies' tennis shoe. It just lands a lot louder. As when he picked it up, he grunted. We also brought some scales in case somebody wanted to challenge it. Excuse me.
Certainly. Let me get out of your way.
So, let's pull out some of the things they use. This bag, minus the oil of mustard, because I couldn't get through security at the Tennessean, so we left that at home. These are some, just a small amount of the things they use to cover up the violations. Some of them broke open. Feel free to look at them, take them out of this plastic bag, but beware, you'll probably get black stuff all over your hands. We took these bit burrs that have been used under the girth in various places on the saddle to get horses through inspection. We've brought that to the attention of the HIOs in numerous meetings and the USDA in the past, and after several years of non-compliance and use of these tools, they now have prohibited saddles in the inspection area. 6-ounce chain, which is now permitted. Your spring, Tracy. These are the things that have been put under the foot. Here is a plantation shoe. Another spring. This is a common thing used, a comb, fine teeth. It's used for when they do salicylic acid treatments to remove the scars from the horses. They set them up, 24 hours, 48 hours in plastic to cook. They then remove it, and they then proceed to comb the tissue off of the horse's leg with this comb. The famous bolt. There it is. Here's the nut. They drive this up into the sole, get the horse right, remove it, bring him to inspection, win a class. Lead. Here's the lead that they help to make that ladies' tennis shoe heavier. I'll be right back. And here, ladies and gentlemen, this is isolated to only a few individuals in this industry. You know, 98.5% are compliant. Well, here's the other 1.5%, single file. Feel free to browse through it. Be right back. Actually, I think I'll stop with the props. You're welcome to look at these things, and I think Lori will help us set them up somewhere. So as you can see, I had to change my presentation today a little bit because Lori had asked me to please report on our meeting with the Tennessean. And these were the things that we presented to them to dispel the misrepresentations that were made to them in the previous meeting. Afterwards, we then went and met with NBC, and Senator Tidings and I did an interview with NBC, which probably will air tonight. Now, one of the questions that the Tennessean asked was, what about the vets? Aren't they stopping this? I said a lot of vets want to stop it, but in many cases, the vets are actively involved in it. We have a record of some vets that have tickets for soring horses. We have vets that are assisting the trainers and telling them how to soar the horses and how to get them through inspection. And we have vets that actually own sore horses, as evidenced by their violations and their federal cases and their tickets, which seemed to shock the newspaper. And they said, was I certain of this? And I shared with them that when I worked for the celebration in 2010, I had actually gone back to the barns and caught a vet doing what they call a nerve block. That's when you inject the nerve in the vascular bundle, vein, artery, nerve. They hit the nerve with a numbing agent, block the horse so we can get through inspection. Now, I testified in Congress, and we discussed that, and one of the congressmen challenged that, saying, well, it certainly seems like great science. Well, actually, it is not science, but it is certainly practiced. And what the trainers do is they'll numb the horses at the barn. They will time it to see how long the numbing agent lasts, so they can get a recipe on how to numb time-wise and then get the horse to the inspection, get him through, and then have it wear off so that it activates during the show ring. Now, somebody might want to challenge that, but it doesn't take a mental giant to be able to figure out. When you go to the dentist, they know how long Novocaine lasts. They inject you so that you don't have a pain response when they're drilling on your tooth. Now, it'd be pretty terrible if he thought, I don't know how long it lasts, just hope it does. 3 minutes later, you're levitating out of the chair. They do know how long it lasts. Doctors know how long it lasts. Surgeons know how long things last. So to say that it is they're not capable of doing that with numbing agents and being successful, that's a misrepresentation. Now, one of the conversations I had with one of my colleagues last year, I think it was after the fun show when I was at Tweeba, and we had a conversation. They asked if I'd been to the fun show, and I said, yes, I went the night before. Well, what did you think? And I said, well, I was really pretty amazed. I'm assuming the horses that got in the ring were sound. And it made me think, all these 40 years we've been wasting perfectly good chemicals to soar these horses when they ended up looking exactly like that sound horse last night. Huh. What's the problem with this industry? We don't want to change. We have repeat offenders. And if you don't believe it, look through that stack. And that is just a short period of time. It is not since we've been keeping records. This industry embraces violators. They reward violators. They put their names in stone until they get caught on TV, and then they grind it off. It's a sad situation that this industry has people that don't have enough faith in their own product to sell on its own merits. Now, in the Blackburn bill, they want objective science. Now, if you've ever had a pain and went to the doctor, What was the first thing the doctor did? He palpated. I mean, he doesn't just go in there and look at you from across the room and go, yep, there it is. That's an accepted practice for centuries. So let's move on to the other things that are used in inspection that they apparently don't consider science. As Dr. Turner discussed, thermograph, radiograph, GCMS, which is the gas chromatography mass spectrometry, which is the swabbing, like when you go to the airport and they swab your computer to see if you're going to blow up a plane. It's the same thing, a little rag, put it in a machine, pops out. They are using blood testing. They're using iris scan. So my question is, what science that is being used today currently does Congresswoman Blackburn want us to use to identify noncompliance? Are the pads causing soaring? Certain people think they do cause problems. The industry has relied on the Auburn study, which was not a peer-reviewed study. And one of the things that comes to mind is about scars. That's always been the red herring. So the industry says we aren't soaring anymore. 98.5 compliance. And the chain doesn't soar either. Well, then my question is, what's causing those scars? Did they just break out in a pasture like a virus? This industry can't continue to have it both ways. You either are soaring or the chain's soaring. Make up your mind. Why has this failed over all these years? In large part, as we shared, actually, Senator Tidings shared with the Tennessean and with the news, is the chronic political influence peddling. When you have Hal Rogers threatening the USDA to remove funding from horse protection or other programs if they continue to enforce the law stringently, you have PAC funds that are being paid to these congressmen. The leader of the PAC has been Mitch McConnell. As several people in Congress said, that Marsha Blackburn has become the face of animal abuse for the state of Tennessee. Some friends of mine are dear friends with Lamar Alexander. They claim that he and his wife have done wonderful things in the humane area for animals and are very confused why they have not stepped forward to help protect the animal that carries the name of our state. So as you can see, there's an uphill battle, and it's going to take a lot of people, because the people that support soaring are working diligently on the Hill to try and convince congressmen and senators that the Blackburn bill is the best. Now, the Blackburn bill talks about putting in charge of selection of people to run the inspections, the Ag Commissioner, such as Julius Johnson, who attended the congressional hearing. And one of his first comments, he said, "I do not know why I'm here." Well, that would certainly be why I'd pick him. The numbers he quoted with regard to the economic impact study reflected the entire equine world of Tennessee. He did not have it broken down to the Tennessee walking horse. If the pad and chain goes, so be it. I have enough faith in this horse. He's going to sell on his own merit. And the people that truly love the Tennessee walking horse and are not caught up in this shoeing war will continue to love the Tennessee walking horse and will continue showing the Tennessee walking horse, riding the Tennessee walking horse, owning the Tennessee walking horse, and the horse will survive in spite of these people that support soaring. Thank you.